Alright, so first off, I am under no delusions that this is a new blaster, but I just got it on Markdown and thought we would do a video about it. So here is the Adventure Force by Dart Zone Jurassic World Dominion PYRORAPTOR blaster. And the reason I got this being the Frugal Foam channel, is it was marked down to $7. Now what I've heard from other nerfers is that essentially this blaster can be converted to short darts incredibly easily. And I think it's nice to have even a lower power Springer option. Maybe it's a rainy day, maybe you're at an HVZ that has an unlock for electronics for later in the day, something like that, who knows. But this is intended to be a low-ish power Springer or non-electronic option for myself, actually. Alright, the blaster is freed from its plastic prison. Now, this is presumably... Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. This actually has a skinny pusher. You can put the mag in without having to prime it back. That's awesome. That's so cool. Now, how about the stylings of the blaster? This is, I don't know, I guess this is patterned after dinosaurs, right? So you got feathers and you got teeth. I love how this looks, but I will admit I'm not really crazy about the color scheme. So I'm thinking I will probably end up doing a paint job on this. Additionally, I won't be using this mag because I want short darts. If anyone cares, this also comes with 10 darts. That's actually kind of pretty lame. Maybe the licensed property tax was too high for Dart Zone to include more darts. Alright, so to be honest, really all I care about is setting this thing to be able to use short darts. Now, if we look down this, I can see this, but I don't know if the camera will show it very well. There is a little kind of dart tooth there that I believe is going to block it. Like, we could put a mag in with half darts with an adapter. Alright, so here is a mag, Talon mag, and I'm putting a few darts in here. And I'm screwing it up. Mag adapter. Now, if we put this in, essentially, does the mag adapter itself even fit right? That's a good question. I'm hoping it does because they're both made by Dart Zone, but you never know. Okay, that seems to seat pretty well in there. But the point being that if you only have half darts, then when you load one, it doesn't go forward enough to push that dart tooth out of the way. So we need to remove that little red dart tooth thingy. So if I fire now, this won't do anything, I guess? No, okay, didn't do anything. Technically, there is still a dart in there uselessly. So we'll get that out when we open it up. There are a lot of screws in this. Oh my gosh. Fortunately, not surprisingly, but fortunately, the buffer tube stock comes all the way off, so I don't have to unscrew this unless I'm painting it or something. But that's still a lot of screws. On the other hand, it's good that there are screws rather than, you know, all the glue and leaf springs and crap that Nerf does anymore. Realizing this is Dart Zone, not Nerf. Now, given that this is a Dart Zone produced blaster, my hope and expectation is that all of the screws will be the same length. Okay, so the purple part just kind of sits on top and covers things up, which is not terribly surprising. Not essential for the functionality of the blaster. I'm not terribly surprised, but that's kind of a bummer. I was thinking that the grip would be one piece, that the red kind of wrapped around, and that I didn't have to unscrew the handle, but that seems to not be the case. Okay, so as far as I can tell, These do all appear to be the same length and size and whatever of screw, so that's great because then you don't need to worry about which screw goes in which place. The grip is, the blue grip is screwed onto the red shell in a couple of places, so that's why I couldn't just lift the red around the blue. Now here is the main event. Fortunately, for me at least, nothing sprung out rudely, so it's always appreciated. This is pretty simple, and if we wanted to, we could try for a stronger spring here, and who knows, maybe I will. So there is kind of a dart tooth looking thing right here, and at first I thought this is what we had to take out, this little spring-loaded mechanism. And in fact I did actually take it out, but that doesn't actually go into the barrel at all. It appears that that is simply to help guide the dart. Yeah, it doesn't go in at all. I think what we need to do is focus on this gold tube, which lifts right out. Okay, so this little flap thing here, this is related to what we're talking about. Oh, and that dart that I tried to fire earlier is still there. Oh, the orange part just lifts off too, and there's more orange underneath. Oh, the whole tube is actually orange and the gold is just paint. I guess that shouldn't surprise me, but somehow it did. All right, so here is our stuff. Here is the spring loaded. There's a very small spring there. We just got to lift out this tiny spring and the red plastic piece itself, and then we can put everything back together. We clearly want to still have this. Now, the interesting thing to notice right off the bat, this is, that's the entirety of our barrel. So I'm not sure how well it would work. We could probably try to hook up some kind of a secondary barrel off of this, but I think we still need this piece itself. Like, I could try and mount a barrel that would go the same. I don't know. I'm not really that good with barrels and mounting in places that are not expected. The dart does fit kind of snugly in there, so maybe it won't fall out without that tooth. Anyway, for now, I'm not really worried about increasing the performance through barrel or spring or both. I really just want it to fire short darts and see how well it does that in stock form. Technically, if you wanted to minimize this blaster, you totally could. You could just leave off the entire purple part. I was going to say you could leave off this whole gold barrel and just keep this, but that's how this inner barrel is mounted. Like, there would be nothing to keep it in place without the gold part. So that's it. We just need to make sure everything else is situated properly. This catch looks so familiar. It kind of reminds me of the Kronos's catch a little bit. While we are in here, I'm going to take a quick look at the spring. That's not a super tense spring, but it does, I'm not going to say it has to, but ideally the spring, if we were to replace it, the spring wants to nest in here. The nice thing about the internals of this blaster is there's not really a lot going on. There's the main spring, there's a spring for the trigger, and then there's a spring for the mag release, and that's it. We could, long term, we could easily replace this with some kind of an aftermarket mag release that would be less pronounced, since I'm converting it to short darts. And I don't know that one exists, but I'm sure I could design one relatively easily at this point. I could probably adapt one of the ones that was made for the Dart Zone Pro Mark III, I betcha. I betcha that would work. Alright, so I am doing that thing that I do where I only put enough screws in to hold it together to see if I've done the right thing. I didn't have a... You know, I guess there's no prime lock on this thing. So you can Oh, does this have slam fire? Ah, jeez. Slam fire. But you can't, since the functional barrel is like here, you can't plug it with your finger. And it doesn't, it has slam fire, so you can't deprime it either. I may have to go back in and see if I can figure out how to disable slam fire, because I never ever use it. But for now, does it fire short darts, and how well? Okay, since this blaster is made by Dart Zone, I figured I would use Dart Zone darts. Why not? They already make half-length darts, so let's give this a shot. I realize this is going to be off camera. Sorry. Does it fire? Yeah, fires just fine. How well does it fire? Okay, the results are in. The blaster fired. So we have a spread from 71.5 to 87.5. Honestly, for something like HVZ, that's not bad at all. I do think that experimenting with spring strength and barrel length, and probably barrel thickness or inner diameter, would allow you to squeeze more out of this. But as it is, the prime is incredibly easy, and this is perfectly suitable for HVZ. So in conclusion, for $7 plus tax, or however much you could find one of these discounted at your local Walmart, if you can, I think this is good. Yeah. I have an HVZ coming up this weekend, although who knows when I will post the video. But honestly, I think that this is going to be a lot of fun. And especially, I think this will be very useful for rainy or wet or whatever days. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you next time.